computer. All right, so super excited for tonight's call on creating connections. I feel like this is something that everybody kind of mentioned is something that they want to get better at. Hold on, let me share my screen. That would help if you guys could actually see my screen, right? There we go. Okay. All right. So creating connections is really kind of the most important thing that we do as coaches. You know, connection is why we're here. It's what gives us purpose, and it's what gives meaning to our lives. And I love that quote by Brené Brown. I think that's so true. And I think that for all of us as coaches, you know, we feel like there's a deeper purpose to why we're coaching. It's not that we're just here to, you know, make money or earn prizes or get recognition. Like, all of those things are super exciting and they're so much fun and we get to celebrate those things. But I feel like the true purpose and why we all love doing this is because we know how much the program and Beachbody itself have changed our lives. And so we want to turn around and help other people do the same thing. And we can't do that without forming connections and, you know, really building strong relationships. So connection is what changes a sales pitch into an invitation. You know, we have all been cold messaged by somebody on Instagram who half the time doesn't even take the time to send you a friend request and follow you, or even bother to look at your profile to know that maybe you are already a coach or whatever. And those always feel so salesy and gross. But when you've built a relationship with somebody and they're engaging with you and you're engaging back with them and you're truly fostering that connection and that relationship, when you send them that invitation, it becomes just that, an invitation into something more meaningful instead of a sales pitch. And it takes that icky feeling out of it, because we are not a sales-based business, we're a people-based business. This is not about a transaction, but about helping somebody to have a life transformation. And there are a lot of companies out there where, you know, you'll purchase a product from somebody and that's kind of the end of the road. Like, it's a transaction. You're agreeing to buy a shampoo or lipstick or whatever it may be from them, but there's really not anything ongoing after that. That's not what we do. When somebody signs up with us and they say yes and they complete that share cart, that's the beginning of this relationship, not the end of it. And I think that's what makes this so special and so unique. And I think it's also why building that connection in the relationship on the front end is so important as well. So what is your first impression? When somebody comes to your Instagram page, it should be obvious what you do, but it should also be obvious that you have a life too. So you want people to know that you are a health and fitness coach, that fitness is a passion of yours, that you can help them in some way. But they should also see your significant other or your kids or your fur babies, you know, like you become so much more relatable when people get to see you and not just what you do on your Instagram page. And I think it's important for us, obviously, to market our business and to share what it's done for us. But there's so much more to who we are as people, and we can't just bomb at Beachbody all the time and expect people to connect with us. So I plugged this question in at the end of this slide. What are your top 5? What are the 5 things that, like, if somebody comes to your page, that you really want them to know about you, or that they should see about you pretty quickly off the bat if they're looking at your page? You know, for me, it is that, yeah, I run a health and fitness business and I am passionate about fitness, but I also love Jesus, and my faith is a really big part of my life. If somebody has followed me for any length of time, they know that I'm obsessed with my animals and coffee is my love language. You know, they'll see the things that I share from Amazon that I find and that I love. That during football season, I'm a diehard Tennessee Volunteers fan, and you could regularly find me rocking some crazy orange and white overalls. Like, those are the things that people are going to connect with on your story. And, you know, for me, having those top 5, I always want people to be able to see all of those aspects of my life, not just the health and fitness side of things. So I would challenge all of you to figure out, like, what are your top 5 things? What are the things that you really want somebody to see or to know about you when they come to your page? Because that's what's going to help you attract your people. So how do you find your people? If you aren't willing to post about what's important to you, your people that you're looking for can't find you. So you want to be able to share that relatable content so that people who are like-minded, who are your people, are going to be able to find you if they're scrolling through Instagram. You want to be somebody that's going to pop up in their feed, or you know, that might be recommended to them. But we also get an opportunity to go out and find our people. And for me, that looks like really thinking about, who are my people? What kind of women do I want to do life with? So what the women who I want to be a part of this team and a part of this community, like, what kind of things does she like? Where does she shop? What books is she currently reading? You know, what's important to her? And if you answer those questions, you start figuring out how to find your people on Instagram. So I shared 2 pages that I really love. The one is Give Her 6, which is it's like an SEC football fashion site. So they're like a little online boutique store, and they sell football clothes for bougie chicks like me. So, like, I want to be football, but also football and cute, and that's what this is. And so I'm like, a lot of these girls cheer for the same football team. They like fashion. The girl who runs this company is a believer and a Christian, and so there's also a lot of other faith-filled women who follow this page too. And so that's somewhere that I might go to connect with new women and find women who I can spark up conversations and generate relationships with. And then the Daily Grace Company is, you know, they're all about faith-based products. So they sell devotionals and Bible highlighters and study guides and all of that cutesy stuff. And so, because faith is such a big part of my life, I know that the women that I'm connecting with on there are probably like-minded women as well. So I would challenge you to dig down deep and think about, who do you really want to do life with in our community? Like, what are those women that you really want to draw into this business with you, and get nitty gritty about who they are and what they do, and then find these places like the Give Her 6 or the Daily Grace Company where you're finding and connecting with those women. And it can be anything that really sparks your interest and curiosity, but it gives you a starting point to form a connection, because you know these women already have something in common with you if they're hanging out on these same Instagram accounts that you are. And relationships are truly everything in this business. The better that we can become at building relationships, the better that we do in this business. So what can you share today that's relatable, just to strike up conversation with people? These are 2 story examples from some of my stories that I've shared recently that got a ton of engagement. These have absolutely nothing to do with Beachbody, but they gave me a really great opportunity and an outlet to have really great conversations and connect with women who are already following me. So this is a great way for you to actively engage your current followers through your posts and your stories, just to genuinely connect. So, you know, I share about my quiet time in the morning and about this prayer journal that a friend gave me that I've really been loving. And I had so many people ask me about that journal. How do I like it? Where can I buy it? And so, like, little things like that you might not even necessarily think are important to share, people are connecting with you on those things. I shared this picture of the kitten that we're getting in a couple weeks and was talking about like how we've been tossing around some name ideas, but like send help. What would you name our new kitty? And I got so many messages flooding my inbox from people with name suggestions and just like going back and forth, creating these really organic conversations with people and then like talking to them about their pets and why they liked that name. And all of these just really awesome conversations came about just from sharing the other things that are important in my life and doing so in a way that creates conversation, like asking people what they would name my cat. Like that seems like such a silly post, but having conversations with people like that really builds trust and it builds that relationship. Your followers only get to know you as well as you allow them to. You know, a lot of us probably have followers that we've never met in real life. I safely say that because most of you ladies I've never met in real life. And so the people who you're interacting with probably really only know you as well as you're giving them the opportunity to. And so sharing those parts of your story that people can relate to or that are just the everyday you, that's so relatable to people. And it like, I just feel like people open up so much more because they feel like they know you. And it creates that trust and it breaks down a lot of the barriers that we experience. And like I said earlier, really creates the opportunity to change our messages from a sales pitch to an invitation, because somebody's gotten to know you and to know your heart and following you if you're willing to be bold and share that. And when they know you and they know your heart, it doesn't come across icky when you invite them. So how to start doing that? Here's some tangible action steps that you can do to build that community. So 3 to 5 new daily. This takes just a few minutes to find some new ladies who are your people. And think about it. If you went and found 3 to 5 new ladies to connect with every day, that's 90 to 150 connections a month. Just from sitting down for 10 minutes or so, looking through a couple pages and maybe finding friends of friends. I do that a lot as well. Like if somebody whose page I just absolutely love and I think they're an awesome person, if they tag their best friend in something, I'm gonna go connect with their best friend too, because chances are she's a lot like this other girl I'm talking to and she's somebody that I would like as well. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy or complicated. Typically I will go follow them. I only like one of their pictures because I feel like you just automatically look salesy if you go in and like 3 to 5 of their pictures. So I usually only like one. I shoot them over a follow and I'll watch their story. If there's something that I genuinely connect with, I'm going to comment on their story and say that. Or if there's something in one of their posts that really resonates for me, I'm going to comment and say that. And, you know, sometimes that's as simple as, oh my God, that's the cutest dress. Where did you get it? And that starts a conversation with somebody. And again, super organic and just a natural flow to have that conversation in. And then connect with your current followers and the people who you're currently following. You know, if you are regularly engaging in conversation with the people who you're following, and they're conversing back with you, like if you're commenting on their pictures, if you're replying to their stories, that tells the Instagram algorithm that you guys are friends and you're truly engaging with your followers, and Instagram's going to start showing your stuff to more people who have similar accounts or showing it to your followers more than they do. So when we start building those connections too, not only does it help us to foster the relationships, but it's tricking that Instagram algorithm and helping you reach more people because you're telling the algorithm that you're a real human and you're truly interacting and people are engaging back with you. So that's super important because I know we all feel like, God, I don't have enough people liking it, I don't have enough people watching my stories, and that's a good way to help that. And then if you really want to if you really want to 10x this, do the alphabet challenge with your current followers. So this was something that I thought was super cool. I can't remember if it was a national wake up call I was watching. It was something with one of these like 10-star coaches or whatever. And every day when she is doing her time to build the connections, she will go into her followers on her Instagram and, you know, she'll pick a letter of the alphabet, maybe it's A, and she'll go to each of those followers and connect with their most recent post or comment back on one of their stories. And I just thought that was really cool. She actually was talking about how her connection part of her day takes longer than anything else she does, but it's also the most important thing that she does. And I think that's a really cool way for us to engage our followers and make sure that the people who are already following us or that we're following don't fall through the cracks. We're engaging all of them, even when Instagram isn't necessarily showing us their stuff. So that's a fun way for you to kind of 10x yourself and really expand that and connect with more women on your page. But I just think sometimes we tend to overcomplicate this. If your desire and your purpose is to change lives, how can you ever do that without creating true connection? Just lead with the connection, and at some point they're going to engage with something that you've shared that relates to Beachbody, whether they like or comment on a transformation post or they react to a poll on your stories or something. That just opens that door for you to then send the invitation to somebody you've already had amazing conversations with. Or, you know, for me, sometimes I have girls who I've maybe followed and we've gone back and forth and had great conversations for a while. I'll send them a message and be like, listen, I've totally thought about asking you a million times, but I never wanted to come across icky. I just think that you're somebody that I would totally love to get to know better and do life with, and I have this group coming up. Would you mind if I send you some more information? And that message typically gets a really great response from people because I'm only sending that to women who I've genuinely, truly connected with. So we're in the business of changing lives and transforming lives, not of transactions. And the more relationships you can build, the more friends you can make, basically, the easier this business is going to be for you. And honestly, the more rewarding it's going to be. Like, it's instant gratification to make a sale and get a commission, but it's so much more rewarding to watch somebody go through one of our groups and change their life. And I think at the end of the day, like, that's what we all want, and that's why we're really all here. So let me go ahead and exit out of the full screen. And there were a couple of things that popped up in the chat, and y'all can feel free to ask any questions as well. I'm gonna try to pull my chat up here. Let's see. Yes, so Cindy, the national wake up call is posted to the I think it's the Team Beachbody 411 page or the Beachbody Champions. I'll double check, but I'll screenshot and send you both of those pages. And for all of you guys, if you're not in the Team Beachbody 411 or the Beachbody Champions page, both of those are fantastic, and they share a lot of like the corporate resources, and they go live with the national wake up call. There's also a podcast for the national wake up call, and it gets shared as a podcast version as well every week, and they typically get that uploaded pretty quickly after the live does. Austin, I love that you want to do the alphabet challenge. I want to do it as well, because I feel like Instagram algorithm can be super weird, and I don't want any of my followers to kind of fall through the cracks. So when she said that idea, I was like, that's brilliant and such a good way to like keep building those relationships. Anybody else have any other questions or anything they'd like to add?
I guess the only thing is, so for Monday with the free ones, that's all done through like a Facebook group.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do we'll run the free groups through Facebook just because it's easier than trying to have everybody like create a free bot account and get them added into like a bot group. This is just easier and a little sneak peek for them. But I've also found that inviting to free groups is really easy because you're not asking anybody for a financial commitment, and you tend to get a lot more people who are like, yeah, sure, sign me up, it's free. But we
Okay.
always do it with the hope that like they're gonna fall in love with the programs and the community aspect. So that's what's so much fun about them. All right, well, if nobody else has any questions, I'm gonna let y'all go. And oh, can we make a cute picture real quick? I know Austin and Rebecca don't have their cameras on, but I want to make a boom. And I always forget to do that. Let me stop recording too.